Friends, fans, and loved ones, we gather here today to mourn the loss of yet another character from one of my future series. It's happened before with Hazel, Mary, and now, as I develop the story for Behind Closed Doors and come to realize some characters don't quite mesh with the main idea, another unfortunate soul has been erased. Okay, Mindy, take it easy. You know who it is based on the title. That's right, our beloved Cindy Pawson has been scrapped from BCD. I've been thinking about those twin collies for some time now and trying to figure out how they can fit into the story authentically, but unfortunately it's become clear that their relationship simply doesn't belong and cannot thrive here. You may be wondering, well, why did Cindy get scrapped and Mindy remain? The answer to that is pretty simple. I've found a purpose for Mindy in the story and how she ties in with the main characters, whereas Cindy sticks out like a sore thumb and only seems to be prominent in Mindy's world. But the story isn't centered around Mindy. It's centered around Matilda's deteriorating mental health and how it affects her relationships. What? As you know, Matilda never really had a significant connection with Cindy. Mindy and Cindy always stuck out in the old series as two characters with their own story completely separate from the others, especially Cindy. Mindy's only tie to the characters is that she coincidentally became their friend through Hazel, who doesn't even exist anymore, and her crush on Scarlet. Come to think of it, Mindy specifically never really got to exist on her own and was always a product of other characters. She was Scarlet's love interest, before they got blasted with the worst comp head of all time, Cindy's sister, and another friend of the main characters. Don't get me wrong, she was one of my favorites and I really liked some of her moments, that's exactly why she's sticking around. But Cindy really has nothing to do with BCD's current story. Coming into school to be popular while dragging your sister into your shenanigans just doesn't belong there. Plus, the story takes place in university now and nobody gives a fuck about popularity in college. One thing that really made me hesitate with this besides my emotional attachment to Cindy is the fact that Cindy and Mindy were inspired by my literal favorite characters of all time, and I hated letting go of a character that represented that. They weren't originally inspired by them mainly because those characters didn't even exist in 2017, but I ended up taking some inspiration in 2023 when I saw some of their similarities. If you've been on my Tumblr, streams, or my channel in the past 3 years, you probably know about my obsession with Toontown Corporate Clash, or more specifically, Cathal and Graham. They're tied for my favorite characters of all time, and they weirdly remind me of Cindy and Mindy. Just hear me out, and yes, I'm using this video as an excuse to ramble, and I swear this is relevant. Graham and Cathal have a dynamic of self-centered guy who tries way too hard for validation versus down-to-earth guy who doesn't try at all for anything. Watching Graham try so hard to one-up Cathal and get them involved in his shenanigans while Cathal just doesn't care and isn't really invested reminded me of Cindy always fishing for attention and popularity in school and just dragging Mindy along. Also, the Collies are twins and Cathal and Graham have a sibling-type dynamic to me. Also, I headcanon Graham has mommy issues and was neglected growing up, which led to his constant need for validation, and Cindy had the exact same shit going on. So I took some inspiration from these fellas to further flesh out Cindy and Mindy in recent years. Cindy didn't change much, but Mindy became more apathetic and grounded. Cindy became a metalhead as a little reference to her inspiration. Their relationship also improved, with them still being sisters who care about and need each other at the end of the day despite their quarrels, as opposed to the old series where Cindy took advantage and blackmailed Mindy with her own sexual trauma with no remorse. Eek. Along with this, Cindy would now be dragging Mindy into popularity, not because she wants to benefit from her good looks, but because it's her way of getting closer to her sister. She's mean and snarky, sure, but at the end of the day, she craves a deeper relationship with Misty. I wanted to make them more like siblings who bicker often but are still there for each other rather than abusive and dangerous to one another. Well, too bad none of that matters now because I scrapped Cindy. All those fun ideas I had for them, the inspiration I took from my absolute faves, the years of imagining their futures rather than actually sitting down and developing them, gone. Or are they? Do you remember this video where I went over my projects? I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. In said video, I reviewed a series that I called Danielle vs. Kimberly, now called Little Vigilante. In this series, there are two particular characters who I realized mirror Cindy and Mindy. One is self-centered and determined to get attention from her peers while dragging her twin sister into her shenanigans despite her not really caring as much. These characters are Autumn and Aubrey, the gossip girls who write about drama going around in the school newspaper. These two already fit into their respective story authentically and have a similar dynamic to the vision I had for Cindy and Mindy. Plus, I was struggling with building Aubrey's character. So why not just take that dynamic and give it to Autumn and Aubrey while scrapping Cindy from her own project since she doesn't really belong? And that's where we're at now. Cindy's gone, Mindy's becoming her own character, and Autumn and Aubrey stole the dynamic those two once had. I loved Cindy and Mindy's story and dynamic, and I really wanted it to thrive, but BCD simply wasn't the place for it, so I'm glad I found the solution. And that's about all I had to say. Rest in peace, Cindy Pawson. You will be missed, but also low-key reincarnated as a different character from another series. Thank you all for listening, and also here's some clips of Cathal and Graham on my Tamagotchi island since I mentioned them in this video. They're ultra friends and have a very whimsical time with the very, very, very limited things they can do in the demo version. Okay, bye!